everyone, welcome back or welcome to the channel. My name is Savannah, and yesterday or a couple days ago, depending on whenever I get this video live, 2 Point Studios streamed a behind the scenes / first look at their brand new DLC, Zooseum. So before I get into what was covered in the stream, I'll just tell you the new DLC launches on December 2nd, but the devs are also adding a quick sneak peek of the DLC to the base game for everyone to play starting on Tuesday, November 25th. In this sneak peek, you'll get to play up to the first star of the brand new museum campaign map, which is pretty cool. So you get to test out the gameplay before you actually commit to buying the DLC. However, after we're done talking about it, I'm sure you will agree with me that Zooseum is a must get for 2 Point Museum fans. So the stream started off with an art presentation where they chatted about the different steps that go into creating the 2D designs that you see in the game, specifically showcasing the new Far-flung Isles map that you'll get to explore in the new DLC. The new map is huge and it comes with 5 new biomes to explore: the desert, grassland, jungle, cave, and Arctic. 40 plus new exhibits, and when I say exhibits, I mean animals, new interactive displays, and 2 new exhibit types. The new campaign map that you get to build your Zooseum on is a stately manor and has tons of room to build both indoors and out. As expected, the DLC will add a brand new wildlife expert type, as well as new wildlife-themed items. Now, when it comes to the type of animals in the game, much like Planet Zoo, Zooseum introduces 2 types of animal enclosures: terrariums and habitats. Let's talk about the terrarium animals first. Terrariums come in 3 different sizes, like I mentioned: small, medium, and large, and are used to house smaller animals such as snakes, snails, and frogs. At least those are the ones we got a peek at in the stream. Terrariums will actually be a workshop item that your staff will have to build in order to place them in your museum. During the stream, we got a look at 3 different terrarium animals: a snake bite snake, a cabin snail, and a spineless toad, all of which are just adorably quirky and fun. Just like other exhibits, terrarium animals will have certain needs and buzz bonuses that can be achieved, and failure to keep your animals happy will result in their death. Some animals will have special characteristics that affect how you care for them and what other animals, if any, they can be housed with. For example, the cabin snail in the stream had a trait that protects it from being eaten by predators, and therefore could be happily housed in the same terrarium as the snakebite snake. Habitat animals, on the other hand, are your larger animals, and they're the ones that'll live in this new room type. So instead of crafting terrariums in a workshop, habitat animals will live in these rooms that you set up as their enclosure. Each animal will have its own preferences and not only cares about what biome they're in, but they also care about what their habitat looks like. So including proper feeders, landscaping, and enrichment is important. To get the landscaping just right, there's a bar at the top of the screen when you start building a habitat that changes between open, sparse, and dense depending on how much landscaping you put down. And each type of animal is going to have their own preference. When placing down different plants, some of the items actually will randomly rotate automatically so that you don't get that repetitive look, which is absolutely amazing. Makes it so much easier to make beautiful exhibits. Moving on, although they didn't really showcase breeding, the devs did confirm that every habitat animal can be either male or female, and just like with the aquarium animals that are already in the game, placing a nest inside their habitat will result in babies as long as you have a male and female in there with it. Some of the animals will even be sexually dimorphic, meaning that males and females will have different physical characteristics, so you'll be able to easily tell them apart at a glance. As mentioned earlier, there are 5 different biomes available in the DLC, and during the stream we got a look at 2 of them, the jungle and the desert. Both had their own set of decor items that matched the theme, with the jungle biome having more trees and grasses and the desert biome being mostly rocks and sticks. And lastly, possibly one of my favorite aspects of the DLC and caring for the animals is that the habitat animals actually will have favorite experts. You'll be able to see who their favorite expert is in their menu, so when you're assigning staff to certain habitats and tasks, you'll need to pay attention to each animal's favorite keeper and make sure that they're assigned to take care of that animal. Now, when you first bring an animal back from an expedition, one of two ways in which you can acquire animals, there's a good chance that they'll be sick or injured. The devs expressed that they really wanted to lean into the conservation aspect, so the goal is, with bringing animals back into the museum, you're rescuing, healing them, and possibly rehabilitating them to release them back into the wild. We'll talk about releasing animals more in just a minute because it has to do with sanctuary points and the adoption menu, the other way in which that you can get animals for your museum. When an animal is sick or injured, they'll need to be cared for by your experts. A new room, the Wildlife Welfare Room, is essentially your vet office. When you first bring an animal back, you'll need to drag and drop them into the vet office for your expert to heal it. Once healed, it'll go back into your inventory until you place it in its proper exhibit. If an animal gets sick while on exhibit, you'll click and hold to pick up the animal and drag it into the vet office again to get healed by your experts. We didn't really get to see too many types of illnesses or injuries, but I imagine that there's going to be some pretty silly things animals will need to be healed from. Now again, as I mentioned, animals are going to be basically exhibits and are going to be treated like such, except for the added level of care that they need, the feeding and the cleaning up after them. So that means that acquiring them is basically the same. You're going to send out your experts in a chopper to go explore different points on a map and bring them back to your museum. However, one noticeable difference is that when you're sending out your experts, you'll notice that where survey percentage is now replaced by biodiversity level. To increase the biodiversity level, you'll need to release healthy animals back out into the wild. And as I mentioned before, this really leans into the devs' focus on rescuing and rehabilitating animals, and I absolutely love the idea. When you successfully rehabilitate animals and send them back out to the wild, you're going to accrue something called sanctuary points. These sanctuary points can actually be spent in the animal adoption menu, which is the second way in which you can acquire animals for your museum. The animal adoption menu is going to work very similar to like the Planet Zoo menu. The devs even made mention of the game themselves. So if you're familiar with that, that's essentially how this is going to work. You're going to use your sanctuary points to adopt certain animals, and you can even put out an ad to ask for a specific animal that you're looking for. And lastly, just to touch on a couple quick things the devs did confirm during the stream, animals will not be able to escape their habitats or get stolen by thieves. The devs felt that adding either of these mechanics might make the gameplay a little bit too micromanagey due to all the other things that you have to pay attention to keep your animals happy. And I do have to agree. I think with finding them, healing them, rehabilitating, all that kind of stuff, there is plenty of gameplay here, and I'm so excited to jump in. Let me know if you have any questions about the upcoming DLC. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. While you're there, leave a like, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future content, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye!